What's up, everybody? Red Cloud Gamer here, joined by my usual co-host, the Green Sween. What's up, Sween?
What's up, Red Cloud Gamer? How we doing today?
Tonight we're not doing great. I told you earlier I hurt my back, but we agreed to do this today, so I'm here. Let's do it.
Age
This
is
is.
creeping up on you, man.
Oh man, you gotta call me old. You gotta call me
Veteran.
old,
You're not
bro.
old. You're not old. You're just a veteran.
I would tell you that I'd come kick you for that, but like it'd probably throw my back out even worse. So when I'm healed, you're gonna get slapped. I just want you to know that. Like,
Dude,
you're not
something
gonna
about
know
your
when.
gym.
You're not gonna know when. It's just
With payback for when I pulled my chest at your house doing workouts as well.
well, that's because you were crazy. You just
Crazy
tried to do
Mike.
stuff you weren't ready for.
No, I know.
I was just stupid and lifted wrong, and I knew I was lifting wrong, but I was like, whatever. It's not that much weight. Yeah, it turns out that not even that much weight will still mess you up.
So the moral of the story: we start this podcast with safety, and now we kick into video games.
Yeah, NSX Gaming Podcast. November 23rd? So,
Yes, sir.
you want to hop into what you've been playing lately, man? I know it's some of that Calamity of Ganon.
You know what's funny is we got to tell this story now because I told you this earlier in the week. I go to pick up my pre-order for the game, and a day later I go to look at some of the sales for GameStop. Or 2 days later I go to look at some of the sales for GameStop, and surely enough, somebody comes into the counter at GameStop and he says, "Do you guys have any extra copies of Calamity of Ganon?"
Oh,
I
man, he must
looked
be a
over.
listener. He must be one of the few
Yeah.
people that are listening to the podcast regularly.
Jay, I gotta tell you, I got whiplash. I looked over so fast when I heard that, I thought you were in GameStop for a minute trolling me. And then I find out it's another guy entirely because it almost sounded like you. I was like, yo, is he here?
That's definitely something I would have done, too. I wish it was me,
Right.
but
It was not you,
it's
though.
funnier that it
You know what?
wasn't.
Goes back to that theory. I swear they release date, they announced it, or when they announced it, they said Calamity again. And I
Little
don't know.
Mandela effect. All right.
Yep, that's what it
All
is.
right. Yeah, the Berenstein Bears. I got you.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. I've been biased to playing one game and one game only, and it has been Age of Calamity.
I've pretty much had the same experience this week. Different game, but
Wow, is this game really, really good? So you let me borrow Hyrule Warriors. We talked about that on the last segment,
Right.
and I thought it was a good game, but I thought there was things that could have been improved on.
and they were.
I just, I feel like it's like literally when you take the last Zelda game and then you jump off to Breath of the Wild. You saw the amount of depth in the game change, right? Like it was this massive world, and
Yeah, it was
I
like
feel
half
like
Zelda, half Skyrim.
right. Well, I feel like that's the step up from Hyrule Warriors to Age of Calamity. I mean, it's seriously that much of an
All right.
improvement. I'm blown away with how much depth you could put into these characters, their weapons. It's like all the items from Breath of the Wild and you apply them into the game. And I mean, it's just the amount of depth and stats you could put into these guys. It's amazing. Customization, same outfits from Breath of the Wild, and you could even go to the dye shop, and they add some new enemies in the game as well so far where I'm at. I'm 10 hours into the game, by the way, in 3 hours, and I also, or 3 days, and I work a full job, so a busy job at that. COVID, we've lost 6 employees this last week due to COVID at my job, believe it or not. So
Do you guys even have 6 employees?
no, we have about, in total, seriously, including reserves, like maybe 20, 30. 20
Yeah.
after COVID, so we are struggling, and it's all two departments that we're struggling heavy at my job. So I have had to make up for a lot of hours and a lot of slack, so I haven't had the time to game as much as I'd like to.
Excuses, excuses.
I know, but 10 hours in 3 days is still a solid amount of time to give my opinion on how I feel about the game. I think it was like 10 minutes or 10 hours and 10 minutes when I saved last today. Wow. There's, first of all, within 10 hours, I know I'm not even halfway through the game, and the amount of challenge in this game has been insane. There are definitely some challenging missions to do. The Divine Beast missions can be challenging. Love playing as a Divine Beast, man. I mean, talk about just action, everything blowing up around you. It's insane to be able to play as, some of my favorite characters from Breath of the Wild. But
Yeah, and the one trailer I saw when they were playing as a Divine Beast, I thought it looked pretty damn cool.
they also brought back the Korok seeds. So you know how in Breath of the Wild there's
There
like
were
I
like
think
900.
or 900. Yeah, well, those Korok seeds are now in this game, and they are like hidden things that can apply to the game as well. I don't want to give any spoilers to what else kind of comes into that with one of the characters, so I don't want to say anything.
All right.
I want to avoid spoilers at all costs. But the story, again, I can't really talk too much about it. But the story is breathtaking so far, and I mean, it's really the cinematics. I think are better than Breath of the Wild's. Then that's just cinematics. I'm not saying it's a better game. Breath of the Wild is a better game all in all, of course, but like the cinematics and the story so far, and like how in detail they go with these characters and their individual stories, I'm pretty sold on it so far, man. Seriously.
I mean, that's good. That's good. I wish I would have let you borrow Hyrule Warriors a little bit sooner, so you could have finished it up first. Because now you have to go back to it afterwards, and you're like, damn, this isn't as good.
If I even get the time, I mean, God, we'll see what other releases come out. And when I still have to touch No More Heroes 2 after I beat this, that's the thing is now that's on delay, you know? As much as it's a great game, it's just, wow. This is a game that Nintendo, we didn't even see this game coming. I mean, we heard nothing about this. And for them to just say, hey, we're going to make a prequel. And, you know, I really like Nintendo letting another game company handle this story. I thought that was really interesting. That they would do
they've been a lot more lenient on letting other companies handle their main properties the last few years. It's
right, and
come out with good results. I mean, I loved Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I hope there's a sequel to that. I thought Hyrule Warriors 1 was dope. You know, I thought it played kind of poorly when I first played it on the 3DS. It didn't really run all that well. But the definitive edition was much better. And I haven't played Age of Calamity, or Calamity Again, whatever you want to call it. I haven't played that, but I've heard I've heard that it's a really good game, but that the frame rate is closer to the original Hyrule Warriors than it is the newer one. Which doesn't surprise me. You know, we are seeing some companies push the Switch kind of to its limits, so you're going to start seeing that frame rate stutter a little bit more. Hopefully Switch Pro is on the way to fix that.
I'm not going to lie to you, I've seen a couple minor ones, but nothing to the point where it's really interfering with my gameplay. Like, I'm not like, oh, I would have got that hit if this didn't happen. Do I notice, like, when I'm a divine beast and there's 1,000 enemies in front of me? Yeah, you know, it gets a little slow. Definitely, a little bit.
Well, that's definitely good that you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that you guys were losing people like that to COVID. I mean, we have a lot of people at my job. Probably, I don't know, 600-700 people overall throughout all three crafts. And we've been losing some. Not. I mean, you've got 30 people and you've lost, you know, 20% of them. I wouldn't say that we're anywhere near 20%. We've lost a handful here and there. It has been on a little bit of an uptick as we've seen the cases in the country pop up.
I gotta be honest. It's not. It can't even be 30 anymore now that I think about that. Because even after we opened up from the shutdown, we lost about half our employees. So I mean, we're down to almost 11, 12 right now. Because we were at probably 15 to 20 now that I think about after the firings and everything. Not
Yikes.
Firings, but you know, releases.
Yeah, the furloughs. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy world right now. Hopefully this stuff gets under control and ends in the next few months because I'm tired of it. But let's not talk that kind of crap.
Yeah, we're here to get away from that, right?
Yeah. You know what? Absolutely. I just realized I didn't put any gameplay on the screen, so there we go. Little Spider-Man.
Let's throw something up there. Nice.
Which parlays right to where I'm going. So
perfect.
Not parlays. I'm thinking we were talking bets earlier, and you got me with parlays. Segues right to what I was talking.
Good part.
Yeah, shut up. So I've pretty much been playing one game all week. Spider-Man Remastered on PS5.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I played this game 2 years ago on PS4 Pro. And it was one of my like game of the year type games for 2018. Like it wasn't the game of the year, but it deserved to be in the. You can look at it right now. It looks spectacular.
Oh yeah. Just to make it clear to the fans, you're still playing Spider-Man. You have not touched Miles Morales, correct?
Right.
Right. Cool. Right. I like it. I mean, I like it. I like you comparing the original PS4 versus PS5. What's the differences, and then dive into the new stuff. I like this because it feels like
I finished it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I finished the main game. I got the Platinum Trophy again. You know, I got it on the PS4 original, and I got it again this morning on the PS5 Remaster. I am this video is me diving into the first DLC, which I never actually played in the PS4. So I'm having a little bit more fun with that. Especially because my Spider-Man is already maxed out, so I've got all the moves and all that cool stuff. And as you watch, like, he moves around so quick. Insomniac did such a good job at making you really feel like Spider-Man in everything you do. In all of the combat, in the traversal, like that point launch when you web zip to something, just swinging through the city. It's just, they did a great job. But I mean, people discussed that ad nauseum 2 years ago. The game is a complete upgrade over, the 2018 original. And it's pretty rare for us to get a remaster of a game that's only 2 years old, especially one that was, for all intents and purposes, one of the best looking games of last generation anyway.
It really was, yeah. No, I agree with you.
But it is very noticeable. Like, this video that I have here is at 1080p, just for size constraints. And streaming over YouTube, you're not really going to notice the 4K like that anyway. But, I don't know, it's still spectacular. Like, I got a buddy of mine that just started playing the PS4 version. Again, he had played it before, but he saw me playing the PS5 version, decided to play through the original again. And we were in a party when it came on, and he was like, oh my god, why does it look so bad? Did it look this bad before? I was like, no, but now you've seen better. So, it messes you up.
Right.
Yeah, the game is great. The visuals are, I thought the PS4 game looked phenomenal, and now I think it looks like a PS3 game. And obviously it doesn't really, but this just looks so much better. The level of detail on everything, the clarity, you don't see it in this video because I'm playing in the fidelity mode to get the best visuals, but the 60 frames mode, it just transforms this game when you play it at 60 frames. Like, the combat changes, the traversal changes, everything is just so much better. I'm gonna try to power through this first DLC tonight, maybe get through the second one, and then once I finish the third, I'll be giving Miles Morales a shot, so hopefully I'm ready to talk about that on the next podcast. I've heard good things from the friends I have that played it, although they're playing on PS4 because mostly no one's been able to secure a frickin' PS5. Mainly because of scalpers and whatnot, but I did what I had to do to get one, so I myself am enjoying it. That dude's getting messed up by a tripwine. Other than that, I played a little Tetris. I think I talked to you about Tetris last week. Did I talk to you about Tetris?
You did.
Last week? Yeah. So, Tetris Effect Connected, it's actually a PlayStation VR game from either last year or the year before. I also have that. But now it's dropped VR and added online multiplayer for competitive battles, cooperative mode, a 3-player cooperative mode, which is interesting. I really first saw it and was like, the hell you mean 3-player cooperative Tetris? But it's like 3 people are playing Tetris kind of separately with a AI boss figure that's like sending lines to you and using power-ups against you and stuff to try to screw you up. And then whenever you guys fill this meter, it merges all 3 of your Tetris maps together, and you all work together to just blast out as many lines as you can. And then when you're done, like however many you did, like you do like 45 or 50 or whatever, it slams the boss character with all of them and fills up his screen. So the better you do, he'll fill up, and when he messes up, you move on to the next one. And it's got this really catchy soundtrack. Not that there's really like, songs that you would know. It's just like, it's music that gets stuck in your head. I don't know if you remember when I was a kid, Tetris, that music would just be stuck in your head. You play it for an hour, and then you'd hear the music all day. Kind of like Pokemon.
Oh, you don't even got to tell me twice. Well, I was going to say, I play Tetris 99 a lot, and even with the different themes that you unlock, they change up all the music and kind of make it Tetris themed a little bit, so. Yeah, Tetris has always found a way to make some catchy tunes that really stick in your head through the day, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, they're a very successful gaming franchise, if not arguably the most successful actual game.
I don't know if I would say anywhere near that, but they are very successful.
They've had high success from the past to now.
Since I was a kid. I think it's been around since before I was born. I'd have to look that up. Pretty sure it's mid-80s.
Well, then Well, let me at least say this about Tetris: is Tetris has been at it forever, and they've consistently found a way to make new fun ideas with their old formulas, but expanding on them. And I will give Tetris that they really don't switch everything up like too much to the point where it's a brand new game, but they find new ways to make Tetris fun, and they have for a long time. Seriously.
No, I would definitely agree. And they've had some misfires. I don't know if you were gaming then or whatnot, but there was a Tetris back on the Nintendo 64 back in the day when like everyone was trying to just lock down 3D gaming, and it was like Tetris, but instead of just dropping it down on a 2D plane, you were like looking from the top of the canister and trying to make like a square block on the bottom. It was bad. That's all I'm gonna say. It was bad.
I know
Anyone
what
that
game you're
listens to
talking
this that
about.
remembers that they hated it.
My buddy owned it on the 64. Well, his mom actually owned it back in the day, so I do know what game you're talking about. My buddy played it. I never played it, so I never seen gameplay actually of it.
Yeah, be happy about that because it wasn't good. But
Fair enough.
they have done stuff. Tetris 99. Who would have thought that Nintendo would have a battle royale that's
Such
a
a
Tetris game?
I remember seeing that, Jay, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I'm thinking in my head like, wow, that's a joke. I'm like Tetris battle royale. I'm like, great, everything's making a battle royale. How is Tetris gonna be a battle royale? And then I downloaded it, and then I realized,
Yeah.
oh, okay, Tetris can be a battle royale. I see.
Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. So I do want to ask you a quick question that I thought of is, what would you say the biggest leap from Spider-Man on the PS4 to PS5 is, in your opinion?
No question, it's ray tracing.
Ray tracing.
And it's really probably the best example of real-time ray tracing in a console game here at launch. Like, I'm sure we're gonna get better as the generation goes, but a lot of people didn't expect to even see it on this level for the first year or two that the systems were out, and they did it really well. I don't think this video that I recorded really shows much of it because I wasn't really looking around and just kind of ran right through. You can see a little in this fight that I'm about to get in where like a lot of the world is reflected on the texture of the floor. And it's not like a perfectly clean reflection. It's like it looks like it would with like a tile floor. Or I mean a marble floor, a marble tile floor. It just everything's better. The visuals, if the visuals in Spider-Man 2018 were a 10, the visuals in this are a 20. They're that much.
Yeah,
better.
I remember you just showed me the reflections off the buildings while you were climbing up them, and I was seriously mind blown. I was amazed, truly.
Yeah, it really is something to see, and it's weird because it's something that like you've never seen before unless you've had like a high powered computer. You can see what I mean with this floor right now. The world's reflecting it very well. But
would you say ray tracing is the biggest factor on these new consoles? Is this the biggest up? Is this kind of the future?
No. I think ray tracing is a big deal. And some games are going to use it really good. I think this generation of consoles is only going to get to like PC medium ray tracing anyway. You're not going to get the really high quality stuff that you can see in a computer until the next generation of consoles.
Right.
But the big thing for this one's going to be load times, no question.
Load times are big.
I think the ray tracing is going to be the more noticeable thing right away because you see it. You stop by your friend's house and they're playing a game and you see those reflections and you're like, damn, there's something different about that. Like, you never noticed before that the reflections weren't that good, but now that you see them, you're like, whoa, that's different, But when you're playing it, like, I think you might see me die in this, if I remember right. And it's like a second. I die, and then, like, 1 second later, I'm fighting again. It wasn't like that on the PS4 version. You died, and it was like 15, 20 seconds. You fast traveled, and it was like 20 seconds. You loaded the game up, and it was like a solid 30 seconds to get to the main menu, and then another 20 or 30 to get into the game. All of that's cut down to, like, literally a second or two in each step. Like from the PlayStation menu to actually playing Spider-Man takes me like 5 or 6 seconds. And that's counting pushing the buttons to frickin', select my save file and whatnot. So that's going to be the biggest thing. You can see the ray trace reflections in this room, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get to Miles. Like, I'm kind of annoyed with myself that I haven't done it yet.
No, I mean, dude, when you told me your idea, I really loved it because you're making a good comparison here. And I feel like right now, everybody is covering Miles. I mean, everybody, seriously. I mean, that's the PS5 game to cover right now. And it's okay that you're covering something different. I personally like to see, we talked about this last podcast, the transition from one game to another. Even though this is the same game, I like to see the transition, you know,
Yeah, you know,
of next gen
one
and
thing
what
I
they have to
really
add.
I didn't think about until after I played this, because this game came out so recently, and I'm like, wow, it's weird that it's getting a remaster. But it's like, when you make a game, you actually make the game relatively better than what we finally get. Because video game development kits are normally significantly more powerful than the console that's going to play the games. You know, like, I remember the Xbox One X development kit had double the RAM of the Xbox One X. And it's because for development tools you need that. But when it came down to it, it results in some games looking much better in development than they do when you finally get them. And character models that are built at way higher qualities than the ones you actually see in the game. If you remember Rise, when the Xbox One first came out, it's one of the best looking games of the generation. A very shallow game, but the graphics were incredible. The main character model was like a multi-million polygon model when they first built him. And then in the final game, he's like 85,000. So it's like, even though this is only 2 years old, this company obviously made this game looking better than what they delivered to us. And the PS5 gave them the ability to actually give us what they envisioned from the get-go. So
Right.
that's pretty cool to me. I think I'm about to fail in this, yeah. I failed in this a couple times, yeah. I was dealing with Cam and his tablet while I was playing this, so I messed up a little bit. He's got the boys got Kindle Fire tablets, and they want to play that Among Us game.
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, the Kindle Fire tablet doesn't come with the Play Store on it, so you have to do a little workaround to install it. It's not really hard, just a couple files you got to download and install and whatnot. But I had done Cam's, I don't know, a week or so ago, and they were pestering me because I hadn't done Ollie's yet. So now his is done too, and they'll leave me alone. Now I can play my games in peace.
Right.
That's really all I got for Spider-Man, and like I said,
Nice.
I didn't play much of Tetris. It's a fun game. I look forward to playing more of it, of both of them actually. Yeah, I just lost right there. I gotta stop looking at the screen. Mission failure. I don't care.
There it is.
Thieves got away.
Well, way to go.
And you were only playing Calamity again, and so I guess we can go on to other topics, right?
Yeah, Calamity again.
Oh, damn it.
I knew that one wasn't a joke because you said it so smooth and casual. I was like, yeah, he's that one was not intentional.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It
Whatever.
happens.
It's universal. It's got two names.
It's the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity of Ganon. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it should be.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, it is the Calamity of Ganon when you really think about it.
Yeah.
It's his Calamity.
I feel like it is a Mandela effect thing. I could have sworn someone else told me it was called Calamity of Ganon. Maybe it's
and then
just
the
you.
guy at GameStop also said that. I mean, I don't know. That is weird, dude. Seriously, very weird.
So there's not too much news this week that I really kept up on because I've really just been enjoying my games. You know. There was the Madden Next Gen reveal. I was wrong. A couple episodes ago, I said that I didn't think they were doing anything special for Madden. That's why they weren't talking about it. Turns out they were just holding off to the last minute to let us know. I'm not quite certain why they made that decision. But did you see the Madden trailer? I think I might have sent it to you, didn't I?
I don't think you did.
Well, that's upsetting. I feel like I'm going to look through our Facebook messages and find that you're wrong and I'm right. And even if that's not the case, I'm going to say that you're wrong and I'm right. So just deal with it.
Well, I am right, but I'm still wrong.
Yeah.
But
they
right.
showed it. Look, Madden already looks good. Madden is already.
Oh yes, I did watch this. I'm sorry. Yes, you sent it to me a couple of days ago, though.
All right. Anyone listening, that proves that I was right. I'm just saying.
You're right.
No, they upgraded the visuals. You know, the reflections are better. The character models look better. The stadiums look better. Madden already looks pretty damn good anyway, though. The big thing is the next gen stats powered gameplay. So we've been watching football. You know, we're both big football guys. And for the last couple years, we've seen this next gen stats telling us how fast somebody ran or how far they threw or, you know, the likelihood that they were going to catch that pass or make that kick or whatever.
Right.
And
Percentages.
if you remember, we were watching the Giants-Eagles game, I don't know, 2 years ago, whatever it was. And I said it'd be funny if those stats were called next gen because they were for the next gen games. Now, I'm not saying that's why they're called next gen, but it turns out they are being tied in to next gen Madden. So they're using those RFID chips that are in every player's shoulder pads that like determine how they accelerate, how they make their cuts, all that stuff.
Right.
To power the gameplay for the new Madden. And it's I haven't played it. I can't tell you that this is 100% right because we've heard them say a lot of things like this before, and then we play the game, we're like, yeah, this feels just like Madden before. Yeah. But they say that it's going to make every player feel different, you know, more like their real-life counterpart. Like, guys that take cuts really hard are going to take cuts really hard. Guys that take cuts really wide are going to take them really wide. You know, if you get someone that's a really phenomenal route runner, he's going to be exactly that way in the game. If you get someone that's not really such a good route runner, well, he's not going to be a good route runner in the game either. And defenders are going to play, you know, their position on the ball a lot more intelligently. So it won't look crazy when they leap out to get an interception that probably never should have happened. You know, we've all seen that in Madden.
Right.
They also showed the next-gen stats power the new replay system. So we're going to see, like, special replays based on things like, you know, if you're playing as the Eagles and you drop back and you throw a bomb pass, you know, that's, you know, 50, 60 yards in the air, you're going to get a replay that shows you, just like you would on current football, like the ball in the air and it's like tallying up how far it goes and it's going to tell you, oh yeah, it was 57, you know, in air yards, yada yada, or like yards after contact, all sorts of stuff like that. So it's just going to give it a little more accurate representation to the real world game. So that's cool. And what do they say? It comes out December 4th. It's a free upgrade for anyone that owns Madden currently. So if you have Madden for PS4 or Xbox One, you will get the Xbox Series X or PS5 version for free.
Oh, nice.
You know, obviously, if you have the digital version, it'll be automatic. If you have the physical version, you'll have to keep the disc in and, you know, download a specific update for that.
Right.
I got the digital PlayStation, and you know I don't buy Xbox games physically pretty much ever, so I'll be good on that regardless.
Right.
I do like the free upgrade for current owners. I think more companies need to do that. I know they need to make their money, and I understand it. I'm like someone that doesn't even complain that you know, video games have gotten so much more expensive these last few years. You know, with them doing, like, pretty much every game has a deluxe edition, a collector's edition, a legendary edition, you know, I don't know, another reason for us to charge you extra money edition, all sorts of stuff like that. I get it. The games cost more to make, so you need to... Yeah, I just died. Damn. The games cost more to make, so you need to charge more. You know, next-gen games are going up to $70. But I don't like the idea that at launch you're taking advantage of your customers. Like, we already bought your game for this year, so just give us the free upgrade. And then next year I'll gladly pay the $70. I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, people think I'm crazy, but I would pay more. If they said next-gen games had to go up to $80, I'd be like, all right. That's actually something that popped up. I think me and you discussed it, where Sony apparently was quoted saying that, you know, they had discussed their games going higher than 70 and settled on 70. And a lot of people were like, oh, I wouldn't spend more than 70. Like, first off, yes, you would. Most people would. We'd complain about it. We'd absolutely complain about it. But we would. I've been gaming a long time. And even though I didn't start buying games until the 360 generation, I always knew the price of them. My mom bought me a lot of games, but she always made sure I knew how much money she was spending.
Always $60, right? Really?
You know, no, they were $50 when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah. So, well, you know, I don't count like Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64 because the price of the cartridge made the price of the game go up. Like 64 games were $80. You know, Like,
Really? I
yeah,
thought 60.
you go back and grab like
Holy
WWF No
gee.
Mercy back in the day. That was an $80 game because
Oh
the
my
cartridge
god.
itself was a $20 cartridge that you couldn't get away from that. Like the 64 didn't have like memory cards. The games had built-in memory to them, so essentially every game was its own memory card.
And then they made that expansion for the controller that you could put in the back of the controller, the memory card for the controller. I remember that.
Um,
But no, and that's where I didn't even bring this up on, to talk about for the podcast, but this is where I really got to give a lot of love to a company like Animal Crossing. And time again, we talk about how games don't expand on their games, the DLC, and time and time, through the year, they've just been updating this game nonstop, not an extra dollar. And I told you I was going to tell you more about that update this week. And one thing I really wanted to bring up that they did that I think is just absolutely amazing. I mean, you don't see games do this anymore, seriously, is that there was a petition that went on Facebook for 50,000 votes to get more inclusive hairstyles in Animal Crossing. And Animal Crossing saw that petition, and surely enough, they added 8 new hairstyles that very much pleased everybody, seriously. And it's like they heard their fan base and they responded. And you got to love that for free. And it's not like, hey, you have to pay more money for this hair. $5 gets you 7 new hairstyles. I mean, how often in nowadays gaming do we see like you got to pay an extra $5 to get new hairstyles, new clothes, whatever?
yeah,
We see it a lot. We see it a
there's
lot, man.
there's some companies that are very well known for that. We don't need to name them all, but some of them,
Right.
I mean, I remember when Elder Scrolls was charging for horse armor, and uh, the
But I mean,
controversy over that was great.
when you think about it, dude, 50,000 petitions is really like compared to Animal Crossing's player base, that's not a lot to the point where they would have to make a change. They're not backs
Oh
to
yeah,
the
no, I
wall.
mean they're listening
They did
to
it
a
because they
very
care about.
a vocal minority there. 50,000 people. I think that game sold 20 million units already. So
Also, another fun fact about their developers, I don't know if you know this, but they're actually the first game company to literally be 50-50 male female. They did that purposely, just to make it equality. 50% male, 50% female. Their work staff.
I did not know that. That's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah. So
I
I mean,
mean,
they're all about giving the people what they want and keeping things equal, and I dig that. That's a good message to spread to people. I think it's a good game about peace, and the
I'm
people
gonna,
behind it
you
are
know,
about peace and relaxation.
I mean, I guess like I like the message that something like that sends, but I also think that's stupid. Like, I don't think you should ever have a restriction on who can work for you, no matter what. You shouldn't say, "Oh, I don't want girls working here. I don't want people of different religions or political factions or ethnicities working here." But you shouldn't, I personally think, ever feel like you need to represent every single, sex, religion, ethnicity, political affiliation, whatever. Like, I want the best
There's
people for the job, and if that happens to be a girl or a guy, someone that doesn't agree with me, whatever, then that's who it needs to be.
from what I remember reading, the theory behind the principle of that was the balance of opinions. Do you know what I mean? Like, not to have anybody have an overbearing opinion on something, and an overwhelming. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like majority
I get
thing.
why someone would do it. I just personally, if I ran a company, I would never hire anyone that I didn't think was absolutely the best person for the job, regardless of who the hell they were.
Well, they must
It's
also
it's
feel
like
strongly
it's
about
the
that.
baseball thing. Baseball teams are required to have a left-handed pitcher. And because of that, you don't even have to be a good pitcher. If you're a left-handed pitcher, you have a pretty good shot at getting a spot on an MLB roster. You're not going to get paid like the great right-handed pitchers unless you are a great left-handed pitcher. But you can get on a roster. You can literally be named like a New York Yankee or whatever your favorite team is just because you can throw with your left hand because they're required to do that. That's
Right.
dumb. I want people that are great. So if I'm going to hire a left-handed pitcher, it's going to be someone that's great at throwing left-handed.
Right. I know. I
You
agree.
know?
I also agree with their theory on having a balanced opinion, and but no, to each their own. I just obviously no matter what, they've had a great amount of success, and they've obviously done a lot for their community, and they've done it right. No matter what, they've done it right with
Oh
New
yeah,
Horizons.
that game's been monstrously successful. I mean, Nintendo has had crazy success with pretty much all of their franchises this generation, so they're doing
Yeah.
something right. I'm not
Right.
going to knock them for having, an equal uh, workforce. I just I
No, I get
hope
it. Right
that
person for the job.
I hope that the half of them that are men and the half of them that are women are also phenomenal at their job. I hope that no one got their job just because they were like, oh damn, we have 200 employees and one of them has to be a girl, so just go hire a girl, or one of them has to be a guy, so just go hire a guy.
All right.
You know, you can give me a game development team of nothing but women or nothing but men or nothing but any type of group of people. As long as they're the best at doing what they're doing, I'm happy with it.
Right. No, I hear you.
Um,
Well, I mean, obviously they feel strongly, and I think they are the best at doing what they're doing when it comes to Animal Crossing. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer for me. I don't think another game in the series even touches New Horizons, to be honest with you.
I didn't play the series before New Horizons, so
Gotcha.
I can't comment on that. I know that it had a big following before this,
Yeah, it did.
so it's good to see it be as successful as it is. It's good to see Nintendo be successful again. I don't like when they had the Wii U and I think they only sold 13 or 14 million systems.
Yeah, well, I was
It
one of those 14.
Me too. There's one sitting in the cabinet over here. It like it irked me to see that because even though I'm not a big Nintendo gamer anymore, like I grew up with Nintendo and I believe they'll always have a place in gaming because one thing, like Nintendo doesn't really do is change away from their demographic. You know, Nintendo makes games aimed at children. They do make sure that they're deep enough to be enjoyed by everybody, but they are aimed at children. And the reason they do that is because there's always more children. Whereas you might grow up and become someone that's not into video games anymore. I have plenty of friends that outgrew video games, and I have plenty of friends that did not outgrow video games. I'm never going to outgrow them. I love them. They're part of who I am.
Right.
But
Yeah,
some
me
people,
neither.
as they get older, they're like, hey, I'm not into those things I was when I was a kid anymore. So Nintendo made sure that they always target children, and in doing so, they always have, you know, a very large amount of potential customers because parents will buy their kids things.
Well, that makes sense.
You know, so when they weren't doing well, I was like, man, there's gonna be a lot of kids that aren't getting Mario's and aren't getting, Donkey Kongs and stuff, and that was a big part of my childhood, playing those games, playing with my friends. I don't know. I didn't want to see them fail. So seeing them come back with the Switch to have not only hardware success like they did with the Wii, but software success like they did throughout my childhood, that's pretty damn cool to me.
Right, and nonetheless, dude, I mean, not only did Nintendo come back themselves, but they really brought me personally, they brought me back to gaming. Like, I understand I played Xbox One with you guys, but like, I was very, very biased with my games. It would either be Fortnite or it would be whatever everybody else online is playing. Nintendo, it's just like, I'm really
Oh
not
yeah, you were
forced to
absolutely
play
a
what everybody
part-time
else
gamer.
is. I was absolutely 100%,
And that's
but
fine.
as a
Like anyone out there, like if you're a guy that games an hour or two a week or 40 hours a week, just game, have fun. That's what it's for.
right, that's what it's meant for, exactly. But but even as a kid growing up, though, I was huge into video games. You know what I mean? And it was around a little bit after the 360. I just kind of fell off a little bit. I played the one, I played the PS4, I played the Wii U. I just couldn't even pick any of those consoles. I got rid of all three eventually. I started with the Xbox One, wasn't a huge fan of it, so I got the PS4. Wasn't a huge fan of the PS4 after a couple months. Didn't have enough friends playing it, so I got to the Wii U. Wii U was Wii U.
Yeah.
That one I couldn't take to the toilet when I had to
Wii U
go
was
with
PU. It
unlimited
stunk.
access. Oh, you need to be closer to your TV. Like, no, I don't. I just need to use the bathroom and play my video game. But then you handed me that Switch, man. And what was the racing game that you had me play when I first played
Fast
that?
RMX.
Yeah, that game was great too. I gotta buy
No.
that on the Switch. But when you
Oh, you
had
ought to look. It might
me
be in the Black
put
Friday
that in
sales.
my hand, I'm like, what is this? He said, this is a Nintendo. I'm like, no, it's not, bro. What is this? Come on.
You know what? I'll tell you what's
I never.
funny is I was at cheerleading with Des that day,
Yeah.
and I saw you and Nikki, and I didn't really know like with Nick, how she was gonna progress. Like she's a teenager. I know a lot of teenagers that have a dozen boyfriends or girlfriends before they're out of their teens. I know some like me and Tiff that only had one relationship throughout their teens. So like when Yus came walking up, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to talk to my sister, and I don't know if I'm ever going to see this guy again, so I'll hand him the Switch, so he'll just leave me the hell alone. That's really what happened.
Wow.
Like, I did not know in that moment that we were going to end up good friends.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I don't want to talk to him if they're not going to be dating in a week.
Yeah, right. And then next thing you know, you really lost me, though. I mean, you got the job done because I stopped talking for a minute.
Oh, yeah, you were gone.
That's the
You
most
didn't even
quiet
notice she was
probably
talking to you.
Yeah, well.
I probably got you in trouble.
You did. You did, sir.
Yeah, it sounds like me.
No, but how many nights did you get me in trouble after that? I mean, no, we definitely had a couple nights on Xbox though, but even still, when I'm in the party, we played Fortnite.
Yo, oh my God, do you remember the phone incident?
The phone incident?
Below me?
Oh man, below me. How could I forget below me?
Bro, I was ready to
what?
come to your house and fight you. I knew that she was at your house, and all I heard, because I think she was looking for her phone, and it was like under your feet or something, and you were like, oh, it's below me. But I heard below me, and I'm like, yo, what did you just say to my sister, bro?
We're like, who's talking like this? No, but
oh, it was horrible.
Funny, bro.
Man, that's been a while. Good times, good times.
Yeah, no, for real, for real. You wanted to get into the console crashes a little bit. You were telling me about.
Oh
right?
yeah. So there's been a lot of stuff I'm seeing online about Series X and PS5 problems. I myself I told you last time I experienced one crash with my PlayStation. It wasn't a console crash. It was a game crash. It was a Sackboy.
Adventure Sackboy, yeah.
Yeah, it crashed while I was recording, which pissed me off because it actually, as a byproduct, like stopped my recording and erased it. So that annoyed me. But I was right back into the game in a few seconds because the PS5 is, amazing like that. And I haven't really experienced any of the problems. I touch my system while it's running. I mean, I played Spider-Man pretty much all night. I hurt my back and I just couldn't get comfortable and go to sleep. So I stayed up and played Spider-Man till like 6 o'clock, got that platinum trophy. And I touched the system and it's pretty cool to the touch. I mean, it's not like cold, but it's not as hot as like my PS4 Pro would get, I'll tell you that. And I'm not experiencing, some people are showing pictures that there's like some discoloring on the side of their PlayStation that seems like it's like getting too hot and almost like stain cooking the plastic. I'm looking at mine, but then again, there's none of that.
Yeah, but we also live in a generation that likes to blow their vape smoke into consoles, so you never know.
That's true. But my thing is, like,
is it the console? We never know, right?
All electronics have an acceptable failure rate. Nintendo typically keeps it extremely low. I remember for a while the Wii was at like less than 1% of consoles that failed. Wow. And it made sense because the Wii actually was built on all like pre-existing technology. Nothing about it was actually brand new. So it was all tested stuff already. Whereas the PS5 and the Series X are completely custom silicate, and it makes sense that they're going to have some performance issues and they're going to have some overheating issues in some of their systems. I haven't seen enough reports online to suggest that it's a widespread issue. Like, we're not looking, as far as I can tell right now, again, we're only, 2 weeks into next gen, or this gen. I shouldn't call it next gen anymore. But we're only 2 weeks in, and I haven't seen anything to indicate that we're looking at like a red ring of death kind of incident.
Oh my god!
Where it was, I think Microsoft had like 32% failure rate on all that.
Yeah, that nostalgia hurts.
Yeah. So I don't think that's the case here. I think we're probably dealing with, the normal stuff. It's just, you didn't hear about this stuff when we were kids because there wasn't social media. There wasn't an avenue for everyone to go to and in 5 seconds let the entire world know that their PlayStation froze. Right. I myself haven't experienced any problems. I hope I don't. Both systems are running flawlessly. Although one of them hasn't really been running that much, and it's not the one that I would have expected that to be 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Another thing, a little thing, and this is an issue that I did encounter. I think I talked about it on the last podcast, or I just talked to you about it privately. Both systems seem to have an issue with some games installing the last gen version of a game instead of the next gen version. Or, as was the case with me, my PS5 actually installed both the PS4 and PS5 versions of Sackboy and Spider-Man. So it looks like Sony has patched that, so it shouldn't happen anymore. Because when I install games, it doesn't come up the way it did before. It was coming up where I could select either one. They were like, when I went to the game, it would pop up with a bunch of options. Like I could check the update stuff, view information about the game, or play PS4 or play PS5 game. And now it just says play PS5, and I have to go to that and then switch to PS4 and ask me if I want to download the PS4 version. So it looks like they fixed it. But there was an issue some people were having on the Xbox where Call of Duty, which is not one of the smart delivery titles. We talked about smart delivery before, right?
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, the gist of it is games that are part of smart delivery automatically recognize what platform they're on and deliver you that version of the game. So you buy a game once, like Gears of War. And if you're playing on your Xbox One, it gives you that version. Your One X, it automatically gives you that version. Your Series S or Series X or your PC, it will automatically give you the version it's supposed to be. Call of Duty is not part of those titles. It's not in the smart delivery thing. You have to buy it separate if you want the current or next gen version, or there is like a buying the next gen version comes with the current gen version. It's like a cross gen package. But some people seem to have bought it and it installed the Xbox One S/One X version instead of the Series S, Series X version. And it turns out that it wasn't properly tested, so that version didn't actually run on the Xbox Series S or X. It would crash your system. So there were some widespread crashes with that, but it was over pretty quickly. Couple people online, I know Jez Corden over at Windows Central posted about it pretty early to let people know like how to fix it. I saw his post and went and checked, and it turns out that mine was the right one that was installed. But Matt, Matt, he actually had the Xbox One version installed, and he had called me earlier in the day and said, yo, my system froze and shut off while playing Duty. I was only a few minutes in. And then when I saw that from Jez, I forwarded that link to Matt, like, hey, this is what you got to do, man. And it worked. So that's something that I encountered myself on the PlayStation. I know people that encountered on the Xbox. Hopefully it's fixed on both of them, because I don't want to deal with it ever again. The other thing, I don't know if we talked about this or not yet, but I'm a big Digital Foundry fan. I love those guys. They do like the best tech breakdowns in like the YouTube space, and they go into detail. Like they're the reasons I understand ray tracing the way I do. The video they did for Control just explained it on such an amazing level. Like it was like they were my professors. Some people like to complain about them, and it's funny to me because early on last gen they really like destroyed Xbox, talking about how much better the PlayStation was and how games were running higher resolution, higher frame rate, better settings, whatever, on PS4 than they were on Xbox One. And then when Microsoft decided to reveal the One X, they went right to Digital Foundry and gave it to them and said, here, you reveal it for us. So, the people that were destroying them all this time could come out and say, actually, they did great on this one. So now Digital Foundry has been a big fan of all hardware, but they've been a fan of Series X's engineering and what Microsoft did with it, and they've really praised its specs for, the last, I don't know, I think they announced them back in March or April. And they were talking about it back with the GitHub leak last December. So people started complaining, saying, oh, they're shilling for Microsoft. Microsoft's paying them to say good things. And it's funny to me because I used to hear that they were shilling for PlayStation, that Sony paid them to say good things back when it was all about the PS4. But they did their breakdowns of a couple games, Devil May Cry 5, Black Ops, Dirt 5. And it turns out that all three of these games seem to run, in some instances, significantly better on the PS5. Despite the fact that, as we've seen from the spec sheet, the PS5 is the less powerful console. So, I'm gonna get this out of the way. I am an Xbox fan. You know this. I spend most of my gaming time on Xbox. My PS4 barely got played the entire generation, although now my Series X isn't getting touched and my PS5 is getting played a lot. But I'm still a primarily Xbox fan. I also tell it how it is. I've been gaming a long time, man. You know, power always shows up. A system that is more powerful than another will eventually show you it's more powerful. The Series X is more powerful. The GPU is better. The CPU is better. The RAM is questionable. Same amount with 10 gigs of it being significantly faster and 6 gigs being a little bit slower than the PS5's RAM setup. I don't really know exactly why they did that, but in the end, it's going to show. The PlayStation is going to load most games faster, whether it's a little bit, a second or two, or a lot in some cases. And in the end, the Xbox is going to run these games faster. The reason we're seeing them run, or I should say the reasons we're seeing them run better on PlayStation right now, are pretty simple, and they've existed for the entire history of gaming. All right? First off, the PlayStation's going to sell better. You always develop and optimize your game first on the platform where it will sell the most. Games performed better on 360 not because the 360 was a better system, but because it sold more for most of the generation. The PlayStation didn't catch up until late. So when you were going to sell more games on 360, you made sure your game ran right on 360 first. Thing is, in the middle of a pandemic, these companies aren't really as equipped to make sure that their system or their game runs right on every system at launch. We're seeing games, have some glitches and stuff on both platforms and some messy performance on both platforms, but the better optimized platform, the PlayStation, is running better. As these games get updated, they're going to run better on the Xbox. I don't doubt it for a single second. Another thing with the Xbox that you got to keep in mind is it's full RDNA 2, and the final development kits for the system didn't actually go out until maybe a month before the system hit store shelves. So the PlayStation, these companies had their final development kits for months, and the Xbox, they had them for weeks. In the end, both games are going to be great. Play a game on any system, and you're going to be impressed. PS5 or Series X. You're looking at Spider-Man right now, and you're not going, damn, this would look better on the Xbox, or this would run better on the Xbox. It looks amazing. It runs amazing. It's great, flat out. That's the real answer to it. Right. The performance of a game isn't the be-all, end-all. If that was the case, we would all game on PCs, and the Switch would have never sold a unit.
Yeah, period.
But in the end, power always shows. The PS3 was more powerful than the 360. So when you saw a game built for the PS3 to take advantage of the PS3, you knew you had something special. The PS4 was more powerful, so you saw games run better, look better. The One X is more powerful. Games looked better, ran better. The original Xbox had the biggest power gap I've ever seen over the PS2. It was literally twice as good as the PS2 in almost every area. In some, it was more than twice. There were games that it ran that were completely different versions than the PS2 because the PS2 just couldn't possibly run them.
Right.
But in the end, which one sold best? Like, that's the thing that I don't get. As people go crazy about power, like, oh, it's got to be more powerful. It's got to be more powerful. I need the PlayStation to be the most powerful system. Like, the PS1 was not the most powerful system. It did sell the most. The PS2 was nowhere near the most powerful system, but it sold the most by a massive margin. The PS3 is the only time that Sony actually set out to be the power champion from day one. That's it. The PS4 ended up better, but originally it wasn't expected to be. If you look back to the early part of that generation, or I should say, the build-up to that generation, a lot of people were convinced that Microsoft was going to run away with that generation because Sony was supposedly only giving the PS4 4 gigs of RAM, even though it was very fast RAM, and Xbox was going to have 8 gigs of RAM. And even though it was slower, double the RAM was going to matter. It was going to change the size of games, change how big the worlds could be. Yeah, they'd load a little slower, but they would have been bigger, more immersive, and it was going to matter. Last second, Sony said, oh, by the way, it's 8 gigs of RAM. And then we were like, oh, okay. So, turns out, actually, the PlayStation's the better one. There were other aspects that were better, too. Their GPU was better, but early on, a lot of people believed that Microsoft was going to have the power crown. And they gave it up for whatever reason. But again, the PS4 wasn't meant to be the most powerful, and it outsold the Xbox by a massive margin. If you look at it, it's very rare that the most powerful system actually ends up the best. It's the one that has the best games. So that's why I'm playing the hell out of my PlayStation. I know it's not as powerful as my Xbox. It's still way more powerful than my PS4 Pro. It's still an awesome freaking system with an amazing hard drive. Graphics are sick. You know, you're looking at Spider-Man at 1080p and you're like, damn, that looks good. When you see it on my TV, it looks even better. I promise. You know.
Right.
So people just need to get over the power thing. Let's just talk about games from now on. I'm tired of hearing people talk about, you know, this one runs better, that one runs better, this company's shilling for that company. Let's just say, hey, you know what? I like video games. I'm here to play video games. And that's all we really need to talk about anymore. So let's move off of that. You want to do some Black Friday stuff, right? Talk about some Black Friday stuff.
I was gonna say. Speaking of games, I want to talk about two things like within this too. There are some really good sales this year. That's the first thing I want to talk about. But I was watching some Black Friday videos earlier, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I heard a lot of people just completely skipping GameStop and going to Best Buy, and I understand GameStop is not the most reputable company. I think they've truthfully done a lot more in the last year to really rebuild themselves as a gaming company. I think the rewards program is more worth it than ever. If you really use GameStop to your advantage, you can make GameStop an all right company for yourself. But with that being said, I understand people's feelings with the pre-owned and how they've screwed people, and that's fine. But their Black Friday sales, I will tell you, do stack up with Best Buy's in my book. So,
well, I mean, you got to understand that most Black Friday deals are actually from, you know, like they're MSRP deals. So most stores are going to have the same ones. You're only going to have a couple different.
And here's the crazy part. You would think people would be aware of that and talking about that on their podcast, but they're not. I've heard multiple people say that games are on sale at Best Buy that are also on sale at GameStop, but they're saying they're not on sale at GameStop. I've heard people talk today about Mario Tennis not being on sale. I've heard them say nothing about Fire Emblem, and like people are missing out on like these sales are actually $5 cheaper at GameStop than they are at Best Buy. Some of these, like all the Yoshi, the Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games isn't even on sale at Best Buy. Best Buy does have their good deals. I mean, I'll go over a couple of those real quick. For example, they have the eShop gift cards for 10% off. That's one of the ones that I remember that stood out that GameStop's not doing. Also, The Witcher 3 is $40 instead of $50 at GameStop. Spyro, cut in half, 20 down from 40. No sale on Spyro. For GameStop, you got Mortal Kombat 11 with the Aftermath collection for 25. And you got Trials of Mana. I think that's a big one from Best Buy. $20 down from 50. That game I thought looked really, really good. But then you look at
XCOM
I'm a fan
of the
BioShock.
Mana series, so that's actually a really good deal.
XCOM and BioShock are both $20 at Best Buy, and like a lot of people were saying, those ones aren't on sale at GameStop. Well, let me tell you, all the sales I pretty much just named are at GameStop. There are some more expensive ones, but then there's universal ones like I told you the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic is $30. Jump Force is $5 cheaper at Best Buy, but then Minecraft Dungeons, Assassin's Creed, all the same price. But then you add games like Yoshi's Woolly World, you know, for $30. Fire Emblem Three Houses, $30. Mario Tennis, $30. Splatoon's $35, the same price point. On Black Friday itself, you're getting the Pokemon Let's Go games for $30, which Best Buy is not doing. And another thing Best Buy is doing is Burnout Paradise Remastered is $20 instead of $30 at GameStop.
I'm actually still pretty annoyed that there isn't a new Let's Go game, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I
want Let's Go JoJo right now.
Could that be why we're seeing it half off on Black Friday? Maybe. But then on top of that, they're also adding the Sonic Mania plus Sonic Team Racing double pack for $30, which I think is a great game for a little Christmas gift. 2-in-1, why not for $30?
Yeah, that's solid.
So I understand GameStop has a bad rep, and I understand they're going to keep that rep for a little bit. But I mean, I would give them a chance. I mean, I'm just shocked a lot of people said, oh, they're not doing sales, and don't support GameStop. I mean, I'm not shocked because I understand where their standing is, but at the same time, they are doing some very, very good sales. But I mean, when you got games like Mario Maker 2 on sale, Luigi's Mansion 3, I mean, you know me, I messaged you the other day. I bought 6 Switch games just like that. So I think the games are great sales. However, I wish they definitely came out with a new Switch bundle for sure. I wish we didn't see the Mario Kart 8 bundle at GameStop again. This is now 2 years in a row that we've, or three. This is gonna be the third year in a row that we've seen it.
Damn, has it
Especially, yeah. I mean, when I remember when I got mine in 2018, it was the same bundle. It's the same Switch.
Oof.
Only difference now is it's obviously the upgraded Switch, but 3 months of online Mario Kart. I mean, I don't know. I think they could have did something a little different. I think they should have thrown a little more incentive. We're now what 4 years into the Switch, or we're going on 4 years of the Switch in March.
Yeah.
I think they could have at least first of all maybe upped it to a year of Switch Online instead of 3 months. But then even add in one of those not even a pro controller, quote unquote, but one of those the wireless A controllers or whatever they're called.
Yeah, like the third party stuff. I mean, it's different companies. Like it's like Mad Cats now. No.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if you're going for games, I'm telling you, there are a couple of games that I would go in and get immediately. My big one, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I got Mario's Tennis Aces for $30, and I got the BioShock Collection physical for 20. So, but I also, for the kid for Christmas, I got Yoshi Woolly World, and then you got Sonic at the Olympic Games, both $30, both physical, not gonna take up storage room. A lot of good deals, but even Mario Maker 2 and Luigi's Mansion 3, for $40, those are really good price points that you're not going to find again for those games. So
I wouldn't say you're not going to find again, but you won't find till the next big sale.
next Black Friday, next gen.
Nah, all of these companies do their big like end of the year sale. You'll see a lot of this stuff again. I was going through some sales too. You know me, I don't really pay attention to Nintendo sales. I normally buy my Nintendo games right when they come out, and so I don't pay attention to the sales because I'll get annoyed when I see that I wasted my money on buying something that I never even played and now it's half off.
Right.
But PS5, these are pretty much universal. I was looking at them on the PlayStation Store. You know me, I'm a digital guy. I don't really buy physical games unless I see like a massively good deal on them. So Madden 21 is $35, and like I said, that comes with the next gen version on December 4th. So I'm grabbing it myself, just because I'm gonna grab it on Xbox, but I am grabbing it because I want the next gen version.
Nice.
Borderlands 3 is $20. I already played the hell out of that game, and I'm gonna play it more now that it's been updated for PS5 and Series X. But I mean the Borderlands games. There's a lot of gameplay there. A lot of time you can sink in, and for $20 to get, a couple 100 hours of gameplay if you really want it, that's a deal. Watch Dogs Legion is $40 on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, that game. I'm shocked that one went on sale like that so quick.
Yeah, that's the one game I bought physically on Xbox. I caught it on Best Buy deal of the day last week for $30. I haven't started it, and now I'm happy I haven't started it because it turns out there's some game-breaking glitches that likely aren't going to be patched until December. But
nice.
Those glitches don't exist in the PlayStation versions, which is why I included it on the PlayStation list and not the Xbox one, even though it is the same price. Doom Eternal, $20. Doom, phenomenal game. I mean, it's in the Game of the Year games for the Jeff Keighley's Video Game Awards show. And, we can debate which games got in or didn't get in that should have or shouldn't have. But Doom Eternal is there. It's one of the games in the running for Game of the Year. It's $20. It's a steal. Ghost of Tsushima, $40. I can't tell you how good the game is from personal experience. I bought it. I started it. And then I found out that it was going to get a PS5 update. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop this until I get my PS5. Now I have my PS5, but I'm hooked on Spider-Man. Everyone I know that played Ghost of Tsushima told me they loved it.
I was about to say I watched one of my buddies play about 8 hours of gameplay one night on a PS4 Pro. Phenomenal. And again, I don't really get too captivated by PS4 or Xbox One, but that game was something, dude.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima,
So
yeah.
$40, and like I said, it's got a a PS5 update. It's not like a native PS5 game, but you can run it at 60 frames. It loads even faster, even though the PS4 Pro version already loaded really damn quick. Anyway, I think they did some magic with that. But yeah, $40, good deal. Last of Us 2, my personal game of the year. I didn't finish that many, but that is my game of the year.
I think it's most people's game of the year this year.
Well, you know what? There's going to be a lot of controversy over it. A lot of people were upset with some of the things that happened. Some people hated it that never even played it because they found out what happened to one of their main characters and didn't agree with it. I don't think that I have the right to. Yeah, I'm still not going to say it. I'm sure there's some people, but some people didn't like where the story went and they think it made it a bad game. I thought the story was great. I didn't like what happened to certain characters. But from the second it happened, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to see how this plays out. And it did make sense. The things that happened made sense from the events of the first game. So seeing that for $30, that's a steal. I mean, I got the collector's edition. I think I showed you my Ellie statue. So yes. I'd recommend it for 60 still. So if it's 30, absolutely buy it. And last on the PlayStation list, I actually bought this today because when I got rid of my PS4 Pro, I got rid of this game that I didn't finish, and it's like my little shameful secret. But Final Fantasy VII Remake is on sale for $40 on the PlayStation Store, and I've looked at multiple stores. It's on sale for $40 at a lot of retailers for the Black Friday sales. But it's on sale for $40 at the PlayStation Store right now. And, I mean, that's another one. Actually, now that I say that, the last 4 games I said are all in the Game of the Year category for the Game Awards. And right now, you could grab them, for $60, $90, $130 for those 4 games. That's a steal.
A steal.
Xbox, I'm not really going to say that much. The South Park 2-pack is there for $23 on the digital storefront. The Stick of Truth and the Fractured But Whole. Those games are really dope. If you're a fan of turn-based RPGs or you're a fan of South Park, they really hold the real art style to the show really well. The humor is there. They're really dope games, and for $23 you can't go wrong. Some of the games from the PlayStation 1 are the same, like Madden, Borderlands, Watch Dogs. They're all the same price. I would recommend not buying Watch Dogs until it's patched, but the real sale for Xbox you actually brought up to me before we went live here is Game Pass Ultimate. Best Buy has 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, which is normally $45. It's $15 a month. They've got it on sale for $22.50. My Game Pass Ultimate is good for 2 years. I re-up it every time I see a sale like this. I jump at it. I'll grab 1 or 2 of them. I only grabbed 1 this time because I'm already 2 years out. But I absolutely recommend it. I mean, if you get Game Pass Ultimate, you get Doom Eternal right away. That's part of Game Pass Ultimate. You get everything that Microsoft makes. Like, I saw Gears 5 is on sale, I think, for $9. Well, it's part of Game Pass Ultimate. So for $22.50, which is really the price of Doom Eternal right now, you get 3 months with 100-plus games a month that include Doom Eternal and Gears and the new Gears Tactics. And, if you have PC, there's PC games on there. Really, if you're an Xbox gamer with an internet connection and you're not using Game Pass Ultimate, you should probably get rid of your Xbox. You should really just turn it in because you're not being smart, if I'm being honest. You're, really not. It's the best deal in gaming. No one can argue it. Especially they just added EA Access to it. Or it's not Access anymore, it's EA Play. So you get the EA Play Vault games along with it. It's for $15 a month. You're getting 150 games, and every new Xbox game, not new Xbox game, but new Microsoft-made Xbox game. And now they bought Bethesda, guys. So that means every new Doom, every new Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Prey, Dishonored, Evil Within, Wolfenstein, any of that stuff. You're crazy if you don't have it. That's not debatable at this point. But that's really all I got, man. You got anything else you want to add in?
Not really. I mean, there are some eShop deals, but I mean, they're pretty much the same sales that you'll see in stores. There's a couple different ones: Mario Party, Marvel 3. I'm sure the people will check it out if they're really interested. I just want to touch a lot of those physical retail stores that you'd have to go out and bother with.
Yeah, I
Hopefully
want
in
to
the
tell
next
people not to
couple
go out
weeks.
because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, more importantly, I want to tell people to go out now while they can, because if we're heading for a pandemic, you never know what's about to happen, man. You
We're
know
not
what I
heading
mean?
for a pandemic. We're in a pandemic.
Well, I mean, sorry, if we're heading for another shutdown,
Okay.
you might want to get it done early. That's what I meant to say.
Or you could
Yeah,
listen to
we are in a
me and go
pandemic.
digital.
Boo! Who was that? No. I mean, listen, for the PlayStation and the Xbox, that's all good, but Nintendo has finally given us a little incentive to go physical. If you don't want to waste your storage space, go physical.
I don't really know if that's incentive or more of an obstacle. You know, we're in a digital age. Like, you know, at the start of the Xbox One generation, Microsoft tried to push digital really hard and people rebelled against it. And at the time, we only had like 5 to 10% of people that made their purchases digitally. At the end of the generation, we're at like 70% of people that buy digital products. By the end of the PS5 and Series X generation, I won't even say the end. By 2022, the physical like area of the PS5 and Series X, I don't want to say about the Switch, but the physical market for PS5 and Series X games is going to be maybe 10%. We are moving into a digital era, like more and more every day. We're in one already, but we're moving more into it every day. And Nintendo never really addressed it. Like, the fact that the Switch hasn't gone down in price now in 4 years, but also hasn't seen a storage upgrade really surprises me. Take Mario Kart out. Most people bought it already. It's got 20-something million sales. Instead of packing Mario Kart in, give the Switch 128 gigs. You know, give it more. I'd like more than that. I'm greedy as hell. But
Here's the thing. Here's the thing is they just made the 128 gig card $30. Why couldn't you just throw that in with the bundle now? You're 4 years deep. Give them the storage with that. Am I wrong?
I agree. At the same time, I feel like it's absurd that, you know, console retailers like to... I talked to you about this earlier. I don't like that they like to market their own storage more expensive than competitor storage. Like, you know, $30 on Amazon will get you a much larger and likely faster SD card for your Switch. You know, but Nintendo wants to act like because the Nintendo name is on it, it's suddenly worth more. I hate that.
Yeah, it's a big name to follow, but I get it. Well, no, I'm hoping in the next couple weeks maybe you'll be talking some Cyberpunk. Hopefully, we don't see that get any pushes, huh?
I don't think we will. I don't think that's coming. You know, I mean, it went gold before. It got delayed not because the game wasn't done. It's just when they were bug testing, they found something that was like a fatal flaw, something that would have been catastrophic, and gotten it horrible press. So they had to delay it last minute. When a game goes gold, that thing's done, man. You know, everything that's on the disc is finished. They just realized that it needed a patch, and it absolutely needed one. It couldn't be something that they could have waited. Like Watch Dogs has a bug that could screw your game up. Could screw your game up. For Cyberpunk to get delayed again, that close to release, it had some sort of bug or multiple bugs that it wasn't a matter of could. They were going to screw your game up. So they did what they had to do. It sucks. I never want my games to get delayed, but I never want a game released before it's ready either.
No, I agree.
You know, just delay it, and, you know, like I said earlier, charge me more. If you need more, I get it. I've said this before. I think I talked to you about this in private. Like, PS1 games were $50, and they cost, on the high end, $2 million to make. So $2 million to make, and you sold your game for $50, and you obviously don't get all of that 50. You know, there's a breakdown there. I don't know the exact breakdown, but you only had to sell, you know, 500,000 to 1 million units to cover your game, make a little money. Nowadays, games are costing 30, 40, 50 million dollars to make. Some of them significantly more than that, and they've only gone up $10 in price. Let's be real. That doesn't make sense. Man, if you went to a movie when I was a kid, they were like $6 a ticket. Now it's like 14. You know, I used to buy brand new DVDs for $20. Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays are $30 now. Everything else has gone up proportionately to the amount their development has gone up, and video games haven't. None of us want to see it go up, but if it doesn't, we're going to see less and less companies taking chances with new games. We're just going to see a lot of like, hey, let's keep making Call of Duty, let's keep making Battlefield, let's keep making Madden, let's stick to Fortnite, because those are already making money, and you don't want to risk losing money on a different game. So if they wanted to up the price even more, as much as I don't want to, I will pay more than $70. As long as the game's worth it. If they told me right now that Cyberpunk was an $80 game, they're going to get $80 from me. That's what's going to happen. I don't care.
Right.
I buy the premium version of most games anyway, and not for the content. I buy it because I want the developer to get the extra money. I think that they deserve it in most cases. So,
I agree.
But we're going on a whole nother rant. It's been an hour. This already went long enough for my Spider-Man footage to wrap around.
It sure did.
We did not expect that. I'm sorry that we babbled for so long, people.
Let's not apologize. People listen to this point, they loved it.
Nah, either that or they're trying to track our IP and come beat me up or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't have any other news really to discuss for this week. What about you?
Nah, I got nothing, man.
Well,
looks
let's
like
make sure
you can go back to Calamity again, and I can go back to finishing up Spider-Man, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's make sure to tell the people to definitely stay safe out there, because times are getting a little more tough, and it seems like people are starting to get a little more sick coming around. So wear your mask and cover your mouth when you cough.
By the way,
seriously.
cover your mouth when you cough. That's like kindergarten stuff. Come on, okay?
Yeah, unfortunately we have to. Like I said, also not blowing vape smoke into your console is kindergarten stuff. I feel like. I mean, it's not, but it is.
I hope that in kindergarten you weren't learning about vape smoke.
It's the common sense.
But
of it.
yeah, the general idea: don't do things that would damage your systems, and don't do things that would damage you. You are your own system. You're playing this game called life. The graphics are sick. The gameplay's terrible.
That was good. That was good.
True, man. It's true. That's why I turned to video games. All right, that's a wrap for me, man. Red Cloud Gamer signing off.